Welcome to a new section, everyone. In this section, we will look at investment formulas. Now, the concept of time value is applicable on investments as well. The only difference is that the sign of the cash value has to be reversed. And the reason for this is very simple. When we look at a loan, the principal amount, which is the positive cash flow, is received and it is paid over time, which means that the payment is a negative cash flow for the loan seeker. In the case of an investment, we deposit a money which is a negative cash flow, and because we receive cash payments or something else in return, that becomes the positive cash flow. Of course, we understand compound interest, which is very simple. So, an interest rate is a mechanism that transforms a PV into an FE, so a present value into a future value. And obviously, a simple interest rate pays the same amount each period. For example, a $1,000 investment will pay a simple interest of $100 a year at a 10% per year interest rate. Now, it is also possible that the interest payment are added to the investment, which means that at the end of the first year, the account will have 1000 plus 100, which is 1100. And this means that the earning would be 110, right? Because now our principal has become 1100. Obviously, 10% of that becomes 110. And this very simple topic is called compounding, which is when the total interest that you have earned is added to the principal amount, which means that it is reinvested. And finally, we look at nominal versus effective interest. Now, interest can also be compounded within the year. For example, an investment of $1,000 earns 10% compounded semi-annually, which means that at the end of the first 6 months, 50% in interest, 5% of the original investment is received. And now this $50 is reinvested, and for the second half of the year, there is an earning of 5% of 1,050. So just think of it this way: on the 1st of January, you invested $1,000, and on the 30th of June, you earned an interest of $50 because the interest was half of 10%, which is 5%. But for the second half of the year, from July to December, because the $50 that you've earned has been reinvested, the earning would be 5% of 1050, which is 52.5. And obviously, the total interest becomes 102.5. Now, this means that the interest rate appears to be 10.25%, not 10%. Now, the question is which one is correct? Is it 10% or 10.25%? This is where you need to understand the difference between a nominal and an effective interest rate. Now, interest rates can be quoted in two different ways. So the nominal rate is the annual rate before compounding, which means that it is quoted along with the compounding frequency. And very commonly, we also refer to this as the APR, which is our annual percentage rate. And the effective rate is the annual rate that an investment earns in the year after the compounding is applied, which in this case would be 10.25%. Now remember, there is nothing right or wrong. Both the answers are correct. With the nominal rate, the compounding frequency also needs to be known. But other than that, you can use either one, and both of these are accepted.